Hi everyone, and welcome to this evening's Success Principles Zoom call. I'm John Allen, and this week we have another guest speaker. Amy is stepping in today to present on Principle 13, which is called Take Action. I have to refresh my memory again. Take Action. I think it's a really important one actually, because we've learned about the key concepts around thinking and just moving your mind towards getting the right things in place. But now actually this is a really important one because it's all about taking the action you need to make it yourself successful. So I'm going to hand over to Amy to go through Principle 13. Thank you.
Okay, we all ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just going to screen share. There we go. Is that up?
Yeah, got it.
Lovely. Okay, so we're looking at the Success Principles by Jack Canfield, and we're looking at Principle 13, which is Take Action. You might be able to see that I've used a lot of effects on PowerPoint.
Good, yeah, I can see that. Are you trying to outdo Danny by any chance?
Yeah.
It's PowerPoint, is it?
Well, it's MacBook's version of.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a bit jazzy actually. Yeah, I'm impressed.
Okay, so I thought I'd put this in first because it's quite applicable to what we're looking at now. So it had long since come to my attention that people of accomplishment rarely sat back and let things happen to them. They went out and happened to things, which I think is quite apt for what we're about to look through. That was by Leonardo da Vinci. Okay, so Jack Canfield starts off by saying to us that the world doesn't pay you for what you know, it pays you for what you do, which for us, obviously, network marketing is quite true. So he says, the universe rewards action. People get bogged down analysing, planning and organising when really all they need to do is take action. When you're in action, you trigger all kinds of things that will inevitably carry you to success. So you let people know that you're serious in your intentions. People wake up and start paying attention. People with similar goals become aligned with you. You begin to learn things from your experiences that can't be learned from other people or from books. You get feedback and suggestions on how to do things differently or better, and you attract people who will support and encourage you. And I think personally, the bit where it says you begin to learn things from your experiences that you can't learn from people or books is really true, because you go through a process where you're sending messages out to people or you're talking to people and you make those mistakes and they don't tell you about that in the books. So for us, it's quite true, that one. And the last point, where you attract people who support and encourage you, I think that's very true when you do start to take action. I know personally me, I did a business launch a few weeks ago, something that was completely out of my comfort zone that I really didn't want to do. But anyway, I did it. I took that action, did it. And because of that, my neighbour who attended, she's put me in touch with her network of people. So I've gained that from taking action. Whereas before, she wasn't keen on what I was doing. She left my business page and everything like that. So action really does help.
Yeah, fantastic. That's great.
Yeah. So then Jack Canfield said that talk is cheap. He says, winners take action, do what has to be done. Develop, plan, make corrections, keep taking action until you get the results you expected or better. I love Jack Canfield's or better on the end of his
yeah.
That's really good. So yeah, he says you have to be successful. You have to do what successful people do, which is, I think, what we sort of touched on last week with the act as if. You sort of have to act as if you're someone more successful than yourself to be able to become them. And he also says highly successful people are highly action orientated. I think I did a picture here. Yes, I did. So as Nike say,
do you know what? I was thinking of doing the Nike one as well, Amy. Come to my mind to get the Nike logo.
Great minds.
Yeah, great minds.
Hi, Ian.
So he also says, put into action the principles that we've already covered, which a lot of, I think each principle, we look back on all the other ones that we've done previously in the book, which I quite like, really. So create a vision, set goals, break your goals down into small steps, anticipate obstacles and learn how to deal with them, visualize and affirm your success, believe in yourself and your dreams, take action. So it says, don't just talk about doing things, take action and do them. They run on that course, start training, play house shoot, start writing your book, sign up for piano lessons. Nothing happens until you take action. He goes on at this point to tell us a little story about the seminars that he does himself, Jack Hunt. During the seminar, he'll hold up $100 bill and he'll ask the audience, whoever he's talking to, he'll ask them, who wants this $100 bill? And he said that most people raise their hand or shout out, wave their hands around frantically. But eventually, somebody gets out of their seat and takes the $100 note. After that person's took it, he then asked the audience what that person did differently to rest them, and the answer would be that he got up off his seat and he went to take the money. And Jack Canfield explains that, saying the people who stayed on their seats didn't come forward to take money. They'll make an excuse in their own mind, so they'll say to themselves that they didn't want to look at me, or they didn't for more instruction, see the room, or they didn't want to look like they wanted to need the money back badly. So he said the people who make those excuses in their mind, they're the excuse that they make right there. Somebody didn't want to look too, they'll set themselves back in the rest of their life by not wanting to look greedy, because it's something they're afraid of coming across as. So I quite like the explanation that he gives on how taking action gets you the result you want. Oh, I've got another picture. So just talk about it.
Sorry, Amy. Matt, was there any breaking up on that? Because I've got a really poor internet connection here. I was wondering whether it's my end.
Yeah, I had the same.
Yeah, you were breaking up quite a bit.
I didn't catch it.
Okay, is it running okay at the minute?
Yeah, that's better.
Shall I go over that slide again?
Yeah, I think it might be as well, actually, if that's okay. I'll let you know if it breaks up again. I didn't know whether it was just my end.
Are you far away from the router, Amy?
No, I'm quite close to it.
Oh, okay. Maybe there's a drop in bandwidth.
Yeah. If you do that slide again, that'd be quite cool, because it just it cut out a little. It was cutting in and out pretty much for the last sort of second half of that.
Talk is cheap. That he says, put into the principles we've already covered. So I think a lot of the chapters that we cover in the book, we always go back to the past chapters and the past principles that we're learning. And those are create vision, set goals into small steps, anticipate obstacles and learn how to deal with them, visualize and affirm your success, believe in yourself and your dreams, take them. So instead of just talking, make the action, make the choice to do something about the things that you're planning on doing. So he says, enroll in course, start training, start saving for the down payment house you want, start writing your book, sign up for piano lessons, and it gives far more examples. But nothing happens until you take action. At this point, he goes on to give an explanation of the things that he did in the seminars that he takes. So Jack Canfield himself, he takes some seminars, and during he will hold up $100 bill and ask the audience that he's talking to. He'll ask them, who wants this $100 bill? And he says that most people use their hands or shout out. Sorry about that. They'll wave frantically, but eventually somebody gets up out of their seat and takes a $100 bill. They go up onto the stage or the platform, wherever it is, and take the money. And after that's happened, Jack Canfield asks the audience, what did that person do differently to everyone else? And the answer is that they took action. That person was the only one to get up off their seat and take the money. They said that people who didn't do anything about it, they'll come up with an excuse in their own mind as to why they shouldn't get up and take. So he says that people often think look or instructions or too far back in the room, and they didn't want to look like they wanted or needed it that badly, like a fool. So he says that it's those things that the people sitting on their seats not reaching out and taking that money, it's those that are holding back in the rest of the time. So if someone's afraid of looking a fool, and that's the reason they didn't go up and take that money, that's the reason also why they're holding themselves back in life. So next, he says that it's the universal truth. He says how you do anything in life is how you do everything. If you're cautious, you're probably caught everywhere. And he says to hold yourself back in fear of looking foolish, you will hold yourself back in the rest of your life. He says identify, break through them. So I've put in brackets here that you could use the success principles to do that, because that's what we're learning here, is the principles to succeed in life and all the steps to take to get the result that you want. So he says it's time to stop holding yourself back and go for the gold. And again, he gives us another story here of a man called Ruben Gonzalez, and he wanted to be a Olympic athlete, and he had no training of any sort. So all he knew is that he had a strength of perceptions he could identify about and strength. He never ever quit anything. So he needed to find a sport tough enough that had lots of quitters in it, so that he could succeed and rise to the top of that sport in order for him to become the Olympic athlete. So he did the research, and anyway, he found out that the luge was one of the toughest Olympic sports. And so he went to Lake Placid, which is where all the training's done for the luge. And he was speaking to a man who trains people for the luge. He was speaking to him on the phone. And it came about that he was from Argentina, that Ruben was from Argentina. And the man on the phone was saying, look, the luge is about to be dropped from the Olympics because there weren't enough countries to participate in it. So he said, if you represent Argentina, I'll teach you all I know and I'll train you up to become successful at the luge. But he warned him that 9 out of 10 people quit. And he also warned him to expect a lot of broken bones. So Ruben was fine with that. He carried on. He started his training, and sure enough, people quit. But he stayed on. He carried because he was persistent and he didn't give up. Eventually, he was entered into the Olympics and he won, and he became a three-time Olympic champion. All that because he took action and went for the gold.
Yeah, what a great attitude, huh?
Yeah.
He picked the toughest one because he knew everyone else would drop out.
It's a clever thing to do.
Yeah. That's a bit like network marketing, isn't it? I mean, so many people don't do it because they don't make that decision. You know, and really all it is a decision. I'm going to do this and nothing's going to stop me. Not my feelings, not anybody else, nothing. And that's what Zoe did, right, John?
Yeah. There was no
18 months
doubt
ago.
in her mind it was going to happen.
She just said, I'm going to do it. And that was it. She did it.
She said she's going to get to the top. She's going to be the top of that company, whatever it takes. And there's no two ways about it. And that's it. there isn't any two ways about it. That's exactly what she's doing, and I think that's it for anybody. As soon as you make that decision, that's what you want to do, and you're committed to it, then nothing's going to stand in your way.
It's good. Tenacity is a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone makes mistakes, and in fact, failure is part of the path to success. But it's the ones where, it's when you truly fail is when you give up. So it's sticking at it, and you will get there.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so Jack Canfield carries on to say successful people have a bias for action. He says they have low tolerance for planning and just talking about it. They want to get started, which is something I'm quite guilty of. I plan a lot and don't get started. He says planning has its place, but needs to be kept in perspective. People often wait for the perfect time to do something, but there actually rarely is a perfect time in life for anything. I think I related that myself to starting a family, because I always said I wouldn't start a family until the time was right, until we had financial backing and big enough house, etc. I think you put yourself off doing these things, but in fact, you should just go ahead and do them, because there's often never a perfect time in life. So just get started. Once you get started, you'll start to get feedback that will help you make the corrections you need to make a success. Once you're in action, you'll start learning at a much more rapid rate. I think, to be honest, that's really it's something at the very beginning of getting into a network marketing career, is that you'll start that. For instance, we have 70 to 90 pounds overheads a month, and because you've got that each month, you're more inclined to do something, you're more inclined to take action. Whereas if you sort of think about it lots before you join R1, you won't learn as quickly as you will if you just get started and then learn. Okay, ready, fire, aim is what Jack Canfield says. He says most people are familiar with the phrase ready, aim, fire, but too many people spend too long aiming. So do it now. Do it when you have the impulse, take action right then. I think it was here that he said a story about himself when, I've lost it on my notes now. Hang on. Yeah, so Jack Canfield, he submitted an excerpt from his book, Chicken Soup for the Soul. He didn't really know how to submit a excerpt to a publisher. He didn't know what he was doing, but he sent a letter to a magazine company saying that he wanted them to submit his excerpt of his book, and he asked them to include the blurb as well. The guy who he wrote the letter to sent him a letter back saying that he's really annoyed by the fact that he asked him to include the blurb, but as soon as he'd read the excerpt of the book, he said he'll include the blurb and more still. So although Jack didn't know how to submit the article, he did it. He had the impulse to do it right there and then, and he did it. He took action then. So he got ready, he fired, and then he because he learned the excerpts officially and properly. Forward. This made no sense to me whatsoever until I listened a bit more. Okay, so he says, after you realise that you learn by trial and error.
Hi, Amy. We just lost you a little bit there. Just when you started that fail forward slide, it went a bit funny again.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I think it's okay now.
Okay. I didn't understand myself what fail forward meant. It made no sense until I started reading more. But Jack Canfield says, often people are too afraid to take action, fear of failure. Successful people realise that you learn by trial and error. Get started. Make mistakes. listens and keep moving forwards until you reach your goal. And he finishes off the chapter by saying that older entrepreneurs are 65% more likely to succeed because they've been through more failures in life and they've learned more from their experiences. So they've made lots of mistakes and they've listened to all the feedback that they've received and made corrections. And by doing that, they've been able to go forward to reach their goal. So apparently the older you become, the more successful you'll become in network marketing. So I can't wait to see Zoe when she's 40s, 50s.
I'm not sure she'll be too happy about that.
Oh, I can't
Big
get
40, isn't that a scary number? That's a scary number for anyone. I've just turned 40. Oh, no, actually 41.
You start up your screens. Have I gone again?
Yeah, go on. Yeah, I think you've just cut out again, but you might be back again.
You see startup disc 4 on your screens. Hello?
Hello? Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's cutting out.
Is it when you change the screen, Amy? Maybe it's...
Okay. Might be. I don't know. Can you all see that startup disc is full message?
No.
No, all right, that's fine then. Okay. So I put this in at the end because I thought I love this picture and all over Facebook, and I thought it's really it's quite apt for what we just talked about. So the distance between your dreams and reality is called action. So in order to turn your dreams into a reality, you have to take action.
Yeah.
And I've got some fireworks because I made it to the end of the presentation.
Yay!
Action.
Cool.
And that's
Well done, Amy.
Well done. That was brilliant. Thanks, Amy. That was absolutely awesome. We just, unfortunately, we had in the middle of that, we had a few network connection issues, and it kind of we lost a few little bits along the way. But hopefully, we've picked back up on the bits we missed. But love the presentation. Love the animation on there. I thought you've outdone Danny, definitely. Ian, you're gonna have to have words about that.
I'll definitely pass it on.
It's set up a new standard here. But yeah, I think it's a really really good principle, this one, and it's as you said, is where a lot of us fall down. Is and I was talking to Matt about. I was just chatting to Matt earlier today, and we were talking about this. And I remember when I got into doing property, I started buying and doing up properties about 10 years ago, and I'd for probably about 3 years, I read and read and read, learnt and analysed, and just spent so much time, and they call it analysis paralysis. All I did was to kind of understand the market, I was talking to estate agents, and I never actually took any action for actually quite a few years until I finally did, and it was just before the big crash property market. So if I'd done it 3 years earlier, then I probably would still be doing it now. But there you go. So yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's down to fear, isn't it? Because we live in a world with so much fear that's been pumped into us that we just get these unreasonable or completely illogical emotions, which can really cripple some people. But if you can just step outside the emotions and you can just analyze, why am I not doing it? Okay, I want to go out and I want to present Arbonne to this person or to this group. What is it that's stopping me? And you usually find that you don't actually know. it's just these emotions that have been kind of repressed, and they're blocking your ability to get out there and just do it. And it's really, and as I say, it can cripple people. But for me, I mean, the thing to, if you're in that situation, is to gain awareness, to look inwards and start analyzing yourself. So, okay, so what is it that's stopping me? What am I actually afraid of? if this person does say no, what does that mean? And write it all down or what have you. And once you get to the bottom of it, I think that the fear kind of dissolves because it's nonsense.
Mm.
And if I'm being honest with you, the fear is not the actual fear of being rejected. It's just that thought of being rejection has triggered a load of fear that has built up over the years from things like, not passing your GCSEs or thinking you're not going to pass your GCSEs or ridiculous crap like that sticks in the system.
Mm.
Yeah.
It goes back to one of the first principles
Yeah,
where they talk about how repressed we are. We're born as these young kids who have total belief in themselves. And all through the years, you're kind of told you can't do this, you can't do that, and these fears are sort of drummed into you somehow, aren't they? And so suddenly, when we want to step out from from the mold and do something and be driven and actually have to take some of this action, all these fears that have been pushed into you suddenly are there and right in your face, and you've got to try and break through and move past it.
It's like, I can't remember who I was talking to, but I was saying that, at the age of 12, I actually thought I knew more than I did now. Well, maybe not now, but 2 years ago, I thought I knew more at the age of 12. And you know what? In truth, I did, because I was actually a lot closer aligned to source. There was no limiting beliefs.
Yeah.
I thought not that anything that would particularly stop me doing what I wanted to do, but they come as you get older.
Yeah.
So you kind of close down. You're told that, it's a big wide world out there, and your best years are at school, and you wait till you get out into the workplace. And all these things, they just go in there and they build up, and all of a sudden, what a 12-year-old would happily do, like going knocking on doors, trying to wash cars for a bit of pocket money, and stuff like that. Well, people they don't do it.
Mm.
They don't go and knock on a business. They don't go and say promote to Arbonne. Yeah, a 12-year-old, if you told him he'd get a fiver, he'd go and do that straight away.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So it is completely true.
Yeah, we take a proper mental beating in our teenage years and going onwards.
That's totally mad, isn't it?
I think you
What's that?
I was going to say, you get set up for that fear of failure by the people around you, your parents and your teachers. They say how hard life is when you leave school.
Yeah.
And it's still going somewhere into the big wide world.
Well, you broke up there, Amy.
Let's do again.
Yeah. I'm changing my internet connection. Hopefully it'll be better next time.
But it's a little when you're in the middle of your presentation, I saw a little message pop up saying the internet connection is unstable. So I think you have got an issue there somewhere.
I'm changing from BT to PlusNet, so hopefully it will be better.
Okay, cool. So anyone else got anything to add on that principle?
Yeah, I've got something at the end. When the story about the spilt milk. I think it's just a lesson that as parents, you should be teaching your kids this, because they won't get it at school. They're not going to get what they need to be successful at school. And so it's kind of our jobs to, if they do stuff like that, to spill the milk or whatever they've done, is to not react, to think and to respond and to think about the message. Because this is the Bob and Mary talking about working with the law. We're built up on a shame-based parenting model. And it's the telling off. It's the constant telling off, oh, what have you done? And not handling it properly. And it makes them feel guilty. If something's gone wrong, it wasn't me, the kids shout out, even Nathaniel does it. And I realised that he's like, oh no, he's getting really defensive, and it wasn't me, and he doesn't want the shame of it's a shame,
Yeah.
you know, and I just think it's so important to, you know, become really aware of, you know, what's going into their minds, how you're dealing with things, and and make sure that they're learning these kinds of principles alongside what they're doing at school.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah, but I remember reading something
Yeah, totally agree.
about giving praise to kids as well. To say Theo's come back from school and he's done something. You've heard he's done something well, and it's in some ways is it right to go and say, I love you because you've done this so well, because then the child then attaches doing something well to being loved. So if they don't do something well, they're not loved. So and in this particular, I can't remember what the source of this, but they said you should praise them for doing something well, but give them that love independently of it, so that they just they know in themselves that they're loved. It doesn't rely on them achieving success to be loved, and I think that's a lot of people. I certainly was, and know a lot of people, and I also know that have grown up with this attachment to success or needing or doing something well in order to feel a sense of love from people, which is
you're right. We all always ask Nathaniel how it makes him feel. I ask him if he's proud of himself. So I'll say, I'm proud of you. Are you proud of yourself?
Yeah, that's good. I like that. Yeah.
Sorry, Amy, what did you say?
I was just going to say, I do that with my son too. I ask him how he feels about what he's done.
Yeah.
And I'm quite cautious of how I show to him my sort of appreciation for what he does, because he's a very kind boy. And I always make sure I say to him how kind he's been, rather than saying I love you for it. I just make a sort of a point to say you're very kind.
Yeah, cool.
Very good.
Brilliant. Cool. Well, I think that wraps it up for today. I think, what time is it now? It's about 8:45. Unless anyone else has got anything else to add, we'll probably wrap up for tonight. I'll be taking action about getting the numbers back up in the form of
crack the whip.
Yeah, some whip cracking. Yeah. And sending out invites would probably help the situation.
Yeah.
And I think I'm going to cancel any event that's on Wednesday night. I'm just going to go out and cancel.
There's too much going on everywhere else, isn't it?
I know, yeah. Yeah, it's not Zoe's not helping. She's going off gallivanting tonight somewhere.
Yeah, Danny's gone off to Grantham tonight.
Oh, is she?
Yeah, for product launch. I wanted to go, but she's like, no, you went out last night, so I'm off out tonight.
Yeah, I know. I got that as well. Yeah. Yeah, cool. All right. Well, thanks everyone, and thank you, Amy, for stepping in today and putting together a presentation and some amazing graphics on a great subject. Thank you very much for that. So,
yeah, well done.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Next week, I think I'll do next week. I think unless you want to do next week, Matt. I know you were looking to do this week, but do you want to do next week?
Yeah, I can do it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Lean into it, isn't it?
Lean into it. Yeah. So it follows on really well from this one.
Yeah, it's quite good because I need to take some of my own advice. That's why I was willing to take action, because I thought it would spur me on.
Maybe next week we could actually have a recap on this one, couldn't we? See who's taken action.
Yeah.
Has everyone made a change? What's one little thing that you could do to take action between this week and next week? Whether it's picking up a phone, calling someone, whether it's starting a Zoom call, running an event, speaking to somebody on your difficult list, the list of difficult people, whatever it is, just pull out one action, go for it, take action, and then we'll have a chat through next week, see how you got on.
Cool.
Lovely.
Excellent. Good stuff. All right. Thanks, everyone. and we'll see you next week for Principle
See you next
14. Leaning.
It's Sunday.
And in fact, see you
Oh,
Sunday.
Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely. See you all Sunday. Awesome.
Bye.
Cheers. Bye.
See you later.